Hello there, Wargamers.
Hi.
And welcome to another Anything But Wargaming Battle Report. Today we're bringing you another Age of Tyrants bat rep. We realised that we made one or two little mistakes in the last one.
It does happen when you... However, good news.
We've had the rules pointed
out, and more importantly, we've both learned experiences using these particular companies from last time.
Definitely.
So, no doubt we will both have new tricks up our sleeves.
Definitely. Also, as a little added note while I remember now, what I was saying about obviously our platoons, as we're using them, being able to, we can pick them up like that. We actually can't pick up the Vasa one, and the Junker one is the £60, not the £48 mixed platoon.
Right.
I was having a gander at that earlier.
Yeah, I was beginning to say something to that effect, then I got distracted, I think.
there were many things going on.
Okay.
But yeah, so...
Although, in both cases, you can pick your companies by platoon rather than by company. So if you do want the Vasa mixed company, then you can get it.
It's easy enough to make up, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the deal, guys. You know, you've already seen one, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it last time.
Absolutely.
So you know what's going to go on. So we'll get straight to the game, guys. So here we are with the Junker Force. Steve, just briefly talk us through what we got, starting with your captain.
Okay, as before, you've got Centurion Gaius Magnus in his Octorus Falx transport.
Yep.
Who has 4 orders, which he can give to anyone he likes in his force.
Yep. And obviously the special order, which we'll write down in a minute.
Yep. The lesser Centurions all have 4 orders as well, but they can only give them to their own platoons.
Yep. So we've got platoon 1.
So I've got a Draco squadron here.
Yep.
Which, 3 Draco artillery vehicles, 1 Octorus Falx command vehicle.
Yep. We've got 4 exosuits.
4 exosuits.
Yep.
Chain guns and cesti.
Yeah, straightforward.
A mixed platoon of 3 Principe units and 1 Draco.
Yep.
And a all infantry legionary unit of 3 Principes and 1 armoured chain gun team.
Okay, so same as before, guys, but just a brief reminder. So same over here for me. I've got my captain, same as before. I've got my squadron of red hammers. I have my SART team, my second platoon, which is obviously 3 units SART and 1 disperser team. I have my third platoon. Sorry about the glare, guys. You can't quite see it, I'll just shift them there so you can see it. 3 units of SAM teams.
That's anti-material specialists.
Yeah, and the Icon. And then I have the same again, but SART teams rather than SAM teams on my 4th platoon. Okay, so now we'll quickly roll off to see who chooses which table side. We both roll a 4.
Okay, let's try that again.
Steve gets a 4, I get a 2. Steve, which table side would you like?
Okay.
And this is the board, guys, just so you can see it. So again, we're fighting over the comms relay station in the middle.
Because the terrain we have.
Yeah.
Or rather, the terrain we have that fits the scale anyway.
Definitely, but also it's very fitting that we're fighting over a comms relay anyway.
It's a worthwhile objective to have.
Definitely.
And it seemed to do me okay last time, so I'll take the side with the trees.
Okay, so Steve's going to go on that side. So then we're now going to quickly roll off to see who chooses first deployment. So, Steve, what do you get? Steve gets a 5. I get a 3.
And
so
that's Vast platoon going first.
Okay, so once again Steve's going to make me go first. So we'll be back once I've deployed my first platoon, guys. Okay guys, so while Steve pulls out the orders, I'll talk you through what we've done. So we've both written down our special orders and hidden them in secret. So my deployment, I've basically deployed 1 red hammer here, 1 here, 1 there, and the lieutenant there. I've deployed my second platoon there, my third platoon there, my 4th platoon spread out a bit there, and my captain there. Steve, where are your respective platoons?
Well, like Ben, I've spread out my Dracos across my back line.
So that one over there is from your mixed platoon?
That is.
Yeah.
That's also back to front.
It's also back to front. Oops, as are all of them, as it so happens.
Important note, folks, your rockets aim better when they're pointing at the enemy.
No, just kill some more iron glass, please. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 there with the Octorus Falx there from there. Second platoon is over here. Your exosuits are all there, yeah, by the captain. Your third platoon is mostly there with, obviously, as we said before, the Draco over there, and the 4th platoon is there. So, Steve, I suppose all we have to do now is roll for initiative.
Yes, indeed. Well, and also there's the shooting part.
Well, yeah, but the rolling for initiative comes before the shooting part. Unless you want to let me shoot you now, I don't mind.
Let's roll for initiative.
Okay, Steve gets a 5. I get a 5 also. Steve gets a 3, not a bad roll. I get a 1, Steve goes first. So, Steve, what would you like to activate?
Alright, let's see.
Seeing as you have free reign of the board at the moment.
Yes, indeed. I'm taking 4th platoon and loading them all up aboard this Octorus.
Aboard the Octorus Falx, yeah? The one from 1st platoon rather than the captain.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Steve's activation. So what do I want to do? I'll be back in a second, guys, when I worked out what I want to do. Okay, guys, so I'm going to activate my red hammer squadron. So Steve, can I get some activation markers quickly, please?
No problem. They're all staying stationary, are they?
They're all staying stationary yet, because I only need one with line of sight on them. So I'll just put those on quickly.
Okay,
there you go. 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to aim for the lieutenant of the 3rd platoon Principe squad.
These ones? Alright.
And I believe I can get...
So gets 3 Principe units and 1 Draco.
And 1 Draco, okay. How about, Steve, if I go for not the lieutenant, the one just in front?
This one?
That one there, yeah.
That gets you no Dracos, a Falx, and 3 Principes.
Now we'll go back on the lieutenant, because I need to cut down some of the firepower of the Dracos.
Alright.
Okay, so I have Bombard.
You have a total bombard of 8. And what we got slightly wrong this time is that the defender also gets plus d6 to his result, and we tot up the...
Yeah, so basically I get plus 4 to our roll off.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we start with these Principes.
Okay, so we'll start with the Principe. So Steve gets a 4, so I'm going to beat him no matter what. But what do I beat him by is the important bit. It's a 9.
Okay,
you can't see it on camera.
I gain a vulnerable counter.
Yeah, so they gain a vulnerable counter. Okay, the other bog standard Principe unit, Steve gets a 3. I get a 6, so that's by 3.
I get an activation counter.
Okay. On the lieutenant of the squad, Steve gets a 5, and I get a 7, so that's by 2.
That's
also an activation counter.
And the Draco.
And the Draco. Now he has suppression resistance 6, doesn't he?
He has suppression resistance 4. That's soft-skinned artillery vehicle.
Oh, okay. I thought they were higher than that.
Let me double check. Yep, Octorus.
No, the Draco.
Draco is 4, yes.
4. Okay. So once again, I get plus 4. So Steve gets. I get a 10.
Okay.
That's why I beat Steve by 9.
And 1 suppression.
Yes. So the Draco's hurting a little bit, and he cannot activate this turn. So that was my activation. Not a bad round of shooting from the red hammers again, if I do say so. So Steve, what would you like to activate? Okay. Steve's activation now. Steve's decided what he wants to do.
Yes, I'm moving up my exosuits into this woodland here.
Okay, so you just flat out rush moving them.
This is a flat out rush move. It'll give them a vulnerable counter, but they've got trees to hide behind, so I think I'm reasonably confident.
Should mitigate some of the damage of the vulnerable counter. The one mistake we made before on this note, actually, guys, is that suppressed units don't take extra. It's vulnerable units, isn't it, Steve?
That's correct.
So what are you talking to there, Steve?
Oh yeah, thank you.
So we've got vulnerables all across the board.
Right.
So they're all vulnerable. So then my...
Hang on. Yep. I'm not finished yet.
You're not finished yet?
No, I shall leave it as it is.
You shall leave it as it is. Okie dokie. So then my activation, guys. 1 second. So my activation, I'm going to rush move 3rd platoon, or almost all of the 3rd platoon. So Steve, if you could. So is a vulnerable there.
And we're again using Overwatch tokens.
Yeah, we've run out already.
Well, there might be some more, but
there's a lot to go through. They're going to go to there. So there, and he's going to go his 6 to.
Right. If I remember rightly, tanks can move through infantry, but infantry can't move through tanks.
Okay. Well, either way, I would have moved him up first because it's all simultaneous activation, basically, isn't it? So he's going to go up 6. And then he's going to make himself vulnerable to shoot at your unit of exosuits there. I should be within 24 inches.
Ben toyed around with moving that platoon to shoot me, but there's enough woodland there that he can't see me.
Yeah, because there's 2 inches, because obviously we count this as woodland. Or we are for the purposes of this game anyway. This guy, however, to that front exosuit unit, and I obviously have to shoot the nearest infantry unit, does not.
Yes, indeed. Okay. So we're infantry in cover, we're also vulnerable. All told, you get +1.
All told, I get +1. Okay, so Steve rolls a 3. Okay, so I'm not going to physically be able to destroy you this turn. But I rolled a 4, so that's
you
+1.
1. That's 1 suppression point.
1 suppression point. Okay, that's still some damage on them. I'm not going to complain with that. Okay, so Steve, your activation. Steve, talk us through what you're going to do.
Okay then. First up, my Octorus is going to zoom over this way
Okie dokie.
And I'm going to commence bombardment with his secondary Draco units.
Yep.
He doesn't quite have enough activation to activate this one, but
no.
Also that one's activated already, so
yep.
No problem. Now we bombard the
Okay, so Steve shuffled 5 inches forward, so he's going to obviously be vulnerable, as is the lieutenant, and he's going to have 2 bombardments coming in.
6 bombardments.
6. No. Sorry, yes.
1, 2, 3,
so 2.
4, 5, 6.
2 equivalent shots is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Right, so I'm attacking those 3 units.
So, yes.
So I have a total of bombard 6.
Yeah.
You're vulnerable.
Okay, so you all told get +4 to me on the infantry.
That's correct.
So we'll start with this Sam's team here.
I don't get that one.
Do you not?
These 2 and the tank.
These 3. Okay, so we'll start with the lieutenant. So Steve rolls 1, and I roll. So I actually beat Steve on that one.
Is that a 6 or 1?
That's a 6 for the folks at home.
Okay, so
you got a 5. So
yeah. Yes, that's quite correct. Okay.
So the other Sam's team, Steve rolled a 4, so an 8 equivalently. I rolled a 5, so Steve gets a 3.
So yes.
So no activation counters. Well, he's already vulnerable anyway. And the icon +2 for so a 5. Aha! So that's 4. So Steve.
That's 5.
No. You beat me by 4 because I rolled a 1. You got +2 for me being vulnerable.
Yes.
I've got suppression resistance 6 on my KV icon.
And I can't count.
And he's already vulnerable anyway, so nothing happens.
That was inefficient.
Okay, Steve, do you want to add your tokens now? Again, obviously we're using Overwatch tokens for vulnerable because we, well, you know, it happens quick, and as Steve said in the last video, fortunately they're the reversible tokens, so you shouldn't in theory run out at any given stage.
Right, your go.
My go. Okay, back in a second, guys. I'm going to rush move 4th platoon, 8 inches that way for the infantry. And because they go double on a flat move, he's going to go 12 to about there-ish, Steve. Okay, that's good. Okay, and they're now all vulnerable.
What happened to that team?
That team?
Yeah.
They've not activated yet.
Oh, okay. Better shoot them. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
At this point here, I can get 3
infantry
teams
and the captain. Okay, so we'll start with the disperser team.
You get +1 to these
rolls. I get +1 to these rolls. So Steve gets a... I get a 7, so I'm good there.
Okay, second team.
Yeah. Steve gets a 4 again. I get a 5, so I'm good. The lieutenant, Steve gets... I beat him no matter what.
And the bear.
The bear. So they're all absolutely fine. Okay. Well, my activation. On that basis, these guys are going to pop into the bear. So we're back for Steve's last activation once I've done them. Okay, so there they are, guys, inside of the bear, and now Steve's captain.
Right, I'm going to move up to here and then go stationary.
You're going to go stationary, okay. Right, so just my bear to go. And I think my bear is going to go to about there. Actually, no, I'm going to go to there. She technically becomes vulnerable, but that's the last activation of the turn, so it's an irrelevant factor. So we're back once we've removed all the activation tokens, and then we'll show you the initiative roll, guys. Right, so that's activation counters removed, guys. So initiative roll. What do we get?
Indeed.
Steve gets a 4, nice respectable dice roll. I get a 6, however.
What's with you and initiative rolls?
Yeah,
is dice loaded?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so now my activation, guys. So we're back when I decide what...
Nevertheless, folks, he does always seem to be winning initiative rolls, and I don't know why.
No, because in Urban War, I suck at trying to get the initiative.
True. Maybe so, it's D6s. Maybe it's only D10s that hate you.
Maybe just Age of Tyrants is my game.
Maybe.
Maybe you've got more. Maybe I've got Age of Tyrants. Who knows? We
shall see.
Indeed. So we're back in a sec, guys, when I've worked out what I want to do. Steve's having a little whinge because I said that worked so effectively, and I haven't told him what that is, and he doesn't like not knowing what that is. What that is, Steve, is rinse and repeat.
Oh, right. I suppose I should have expected that.
Yes. Yes, you should have.
So, aiming at my Principe Lieutenant again?
Yes, please. Okay, so I get all 4 of those there again. So we'll start with the ones in the front.
Okay, and again you get plus...
4. Because I got Bombard 8 versus your Resistance 4. So Steve rolls a 4. Not a bad dice roll, Steve. I roll a 6, which has beat you by 2.
All told, I'm activated.
Okay, so that's...
And that's a vulnerable.
That's a vulnerable, yes. And then the other regular Principe squad. Steve rolls a 4 again. I roll an 8, which has beaten Steve by 4.
Yeah, that's a vulnerable token.
That one is a vulnerable token then. The Lieutenant. Oh, not good timing, Steve. It's a 7, so I beat you by 5.
That's a vulnerable token.
Yep.
And the Draco.
And the Draco. Steve rolls a 4. I roll a 6, so I beat you by 2. So it's activated. Okay.
Alright.
Alright, so I'll quickly put my activation markers out, guys, and we'll be back for Steve's turn. Steve, what are you doing then?
Right, this time I'm being very sneaky. Well, sort of sneaky. The
Sort of
sneakiest junkers get.
As sneaky as junkers get.
Right, I'm moving out my Taurus Falcons to there.
Yeah.
And now, a suboptimal time for it, but full-scale bombardment! Burn them to ashes, and then burn the ashes!
Okay, so Steve is activating...
Unleash hell!
Steve is activating his special order. Steve doesn't want to lose it this time. Okay, so talk us through what this one does then, Steve, quickly.
Right, I'm doing something slightly unusual here. I'm using captain's orders. So my captain is ordering these 2 Dracos to do 2 bombardments, one after the other.
Okay, so this is like my shoot. This is like when I used Fusillade last game. Obviously, yours is the Junker variant of it. You get to do 2 bombardments.
Actually, no. You don't have an equivalent to this.
Well, I have. Do I not? I have.
No. You do 2 direct fire.
Well, yeah, but
it's
your version of my Fusillade.
Meat Grinder is our version of your Fusillade.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Either way, it does a similar thing that Fusillade did, but with bombard attacks.
Give or take.
Okay,
right,
so
now,
where are we going?
My first bombardment aims at this point here, getting all 3 of your infantry.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm getting +2 to all of these dice rolls.
Yes, you are. So, should we start with the one at the front, Steve?
Alright.
Steve gets a 4 all told, because he's got a 2 there, so I roll a 4. Nothing happens.
Okay, number 2.
Yep. Steve rolls a 5. I roll a 1. Steve beats
vulnerable
me by
counter.
4. Yes. And these fellas here.
I thought that one.
I
was looking around there. Shall we randomise?
Yeah.
1 to 3, 4 to 6.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, so the Lieutenant and the other guys now. Steve rolls a 6. Activation
counter, that's good.
It still means they can't do anything this turn. Well, they have done something this turn.
Yeah, they hid.
And then your second bombard, Steve.
And my second bombard,
if we can get the total.
slices down into your other infantry section.
Okie dokie. Getting all 3 of them again.
Yep.
So should we start with the front 2 and then go to the Lieutenant after?
Alright.
So this fella here,
That
Steve
one,
gets an 8. I can't physically beat that, but
that's
what?
a 7.
7, sorry, yeah, he gets +2. Still can't beat it, but I need to minimise the damage, so that's a 4, so Steve, 3, sorry, so Steve beats me by 4, so that's a vulnerable token.
Yes, indeed.
And then the other guy in the front, do you want to?
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve gets 5. I get a 4, which is a 1, nothing.
No effect.
Okie dokie.
And the last one.
And the Lieutenant is a 7, so again, so a 4 again. Steve beats 3 again, so Steve beats by 4, so another vulnerable token on the Lieutenant.
Okay, and conveniently, both his lieutenants have been activated, which is going to play merry havoc with his orders later.
Yes, yes it is. Okay. So now it's time for my...
And I'm not quite finished yet.
Oh, and your Octorus Falcons.
Seeing as my Dracos become vulnerable anyway, I might as well move this one.
You might as well move that one.
And I've moved my Falcons, but it hasn't done any shooting. Although, can it? No, it's out of range.
No, it's out of range. Okay.
And vulnerable tokens for the 2 Falcons.
Yep.
Two
No,
Dracos.
Dracos.
Even.
And an activation token for the Falcons.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So that was Steve's turn. So we're back after my turn when I work out what I want to do. Okay, so Steve's done my movement for me. Thank you very much, Steve. So I've moved these guys up so they're within range, and we agreed just barely line of sight of the Octorus Falx there, and the icon has moved up, so he's within range of the Principes over there.
Which one to start with?
We'll start with the SART team. So I have suppression resistance, anti-material.
Oh, sorry. Who's giving? Oh, is the captain giving this order?
No, can they not do this themselves, or do they activate
Their
one at a time?
lieutenant's been shot.
Right, so they go one at a time then, do they?
You have to do whole platoons when you can.
Right, but I can still use them for stuff, can't I?
You later on in the turn, because unordered units activate one by one.
Ah, screw it. We'll have the captain doing this.
All right. With her remaining 2 orders, what's she doing?
Just need an activation. Yeah, back in 1 sec, guys. Okay, so with the remaining 2 orders, guys, sorry, it's a slight hiccup on my part, still learning the rules as we go. So she's moved up, and she's using her remaining 2 orders. She's basically going to move herself up, and she's going to fire, and I can activate one of these fellas as well, can't I, with her remaining order? So I'm going to have him fire at your... am I within range of your Taurus, your commander, Steve?
No, I wasn't in range of you.
Okay, in that case I'm going to shuffle forward a little bit. Just enough to get me in range, if you could please, Steve.
Like so.
Yeah, and he's going to go vulnerable as well. To fire at you.
Okay.
The icon, obviously, as I said before, firing at the Draco.
Alright.
The bear is going to fire at this Tauric Falx here.
Okay, one thing at a time. Which one are you doing first?
We'll start with the icon into your Draco.
Into my Draco?
Yes, the icon. Sorry, no, not the Draco. We said the
Think it's the only thing in range.
Yes, they are. So
I'm vulnerable, and you are
suppressing.
firepower 6.
Yep.
So all told, you get +4.
Okay. So that's a 5. So that's beaten Steve by 2.
Right. So that's 1 suppression point, but
Otherwise,
a lot less bad than it could have been.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll go for the icon, the other icon at your.
All right.
Falx.
You get +2 in this instance.
Okay, so Steve rolls a 6, so that's going to be hard for me to beat. 6, nothing happens. And then the bear with the SART team supporting fire at your other Octorus Falx.
Right. Your anti-material 4 with support 1.
The support 1.
So all told, you get +1 against mine.
Okay, so 2. So 2.
That's no effect.
No effect at all. Okay, so Steve, now your activation.
So I got a little bit lucky there, but
Yes, you did, but it happens, you know.
honestly, it was within the realms of what I expected.
Oh yeah, it wasn't implausible at all. So we're back when Steve works out what he wants to do. Okay, so Steve, what are you going to do for us then, Steve?
Right, now we get to the guts of it. The commander of the Draco unit is going to move to this point here. Because troops inside a transport can be activated with only 1 activation regardless of who is ordering them,
Yep.
he's going to use his remaining 3 orders to have 3 of his infantry teams pour out.
Okay.
And they'll do their move in a second.
Yep.
And finally, he's going to unleash a cloud of smoke at this point here.
This point here. Okay,
which I'm going to place this dice to represent.
Okie dokie.
To remind us where it is.
Yep. Okay.
Smoke, like woodland, is considered to block line of sight beyond 2 inches. This is my cunning plan to stop these guys from interfering just this second.
Okay. Right. So my activation then, Steve?
No, I'm still finishing.
Okay.
My legionaries are pouring out and killing you, remember?
Oh, right. I thought he could just order them to climb out.
No.
I call hacks.
Right. With my remaining 3 orders, I'm doing disembark and attack moves.
Okay.
So as to moving to positions here, here, and here.
Okay.
Moving and attacking does make me vulnerable, but most of Ben's stuff is activated already. What little isn't, I've made sure that he doesn't have line of sight to me. Now, +2 modifier for disembarking and attacking at ranges of 4 inches and less.
Okay.
My legionaries already have an anti-personnel and anti-material firepower of 6.
Okay.
And in all 3 of these cases, you're already vulnerable.
Yes, I am.
So against your icon, I get +4.
Okay. Steve rolls 7 all told. I roll, that's +5, so that's a vulnerable counter. Sorry, wrong one. +2
What did you roll?
You got +5 on me. With your +4, you rolled a 7.
What dice number did you roll?
2.
I rolled a 3.
With a set with a +4, so you got 7.
Yes, so it's 2 suppression counters for the icon.
Okay.
Over here, the Prink-based attack this SART team.
Yeah, so you get +6 in this case, don't you?
That's correct. And I believe Ben can't avoid being destroyed here.
I can, if you roll a 1, I can technically mitigate the damage with my dice roll.
Alright. That's a 10.
So it's a 10, so I can avoid being killed with with high numbers. Like that, that's a 5, so that is 2 suppression points.
Wait. 6.
I rolled a 5, you rolled 10, that's 5 difference.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So 2 suppression points. And obviously the same applies on my lieutenant over here. So that's a 9 for you.
That's a 9.
That's just a 3 that time, so that's because I rolled a 6, so that's 1 suppression point. Okay.
And the Falx is also activated.
Yeah, it's vulnerable, isn't it?
Yes.
Okie dokie. How big is the cloud of smoke?
That's large blast.
Large blast, okay, so should we just put that down for this? I assume it only lasts for this turn.
It only lasts for this turn, yes.
Okay.
Actually, looking at it, do you mind if I shift it a little?
Yeah, go ahead. So Steve's going to fire it to there.
There.
Okay. So then my activation. So and it's within 2 inches of that. Outside of that, I can't see past. Or is it just that I can't see?
That's the cloud of smoke. It works like a forest for purposes of shooting through.
Okay, so I can't shoot through it, but I can shoot around the side of the blast.
That's correct.
Okay, not a problem. So I have no more lieutenants, no one who can issue orders, so I now get to my last little guy here. So I've got a plan. We're back in a second, guys. My anti-material specialists here are shuffling up. I now have line of sight on the Taurus Falx. At this range, I have anti-material rate of 3, we said, Steve.
That is right, yes.
And with his
+2 because I'm
vulnerable, and with your suppression resistance of 4, I get +1 to the dice all told. So Steve, what do you get? You get a 2, I get the +1.
Yep.
I get a 6, so that's a 4. So that is 2 suppression points.
Okay. Honestly, I'm willing to trade 5 vast suppression for 2 of my own.
Okay, and then you have your exosuits to go, don't you, Steve?
Yes, indeed.
And your lone Draco as well.
Right. Well, I have to do the exosuits first because their officer is still unactivated.
Yep.
So, I'm going to move up to these points here.
Yep.
I'm going to do team actions.
Yep.
With an exosuit with a second supporting him, firing upon the bear. Because I have anti-material 3, support 1, and it's vulnerable, so all told I get +2.
+2, okay, so Steve gets a 6, and I get a 4, so that's 2.
2 suppression points.
1 suppression point.
Suppression point. And my last one opens up on the icon. It's vulnerable.
So it's a dead dice roll, isn't it? It's a level dice roll.
Anti-material 3 +2, your defense 6, I get -1.
-1, okay, but if you can do something, so that's a 2. That's a, so he's absolutely fine. But it was worth a try.
I couldn't fire again on that one, so...
It was worth a try, wasn't it? Now ventured, now gained. You know, worst case, nothing happened. Best case, you got a suppression token on it. Okay, and then your Draco to go, Steve.
Yes, indeed. My Draco is gonna open up on the bear.
On the bear, okay.
This is not bombarding, just
solid
shooting.
shot, okay.
Right,
so talk us through the stats.
Anti-material 3.
Yep.
You're
vulnerable.
Vulnerable. All told, I get +1.
Okay, so Steve has a A 6. So I need a nice big dice roll here, guys. So that's plus 2.
Plus 2.
So that's another suppression point.
Another suppression point.
Okay. So that was Steve's.
Not quite finished yet.
Is that-
Do you have any other further units
Is that
to go?
not all your activations?
No. I have unordered men still to move. But
Really?
Yes.
Where?
This exosuit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's you. That's you, Steve. It's all you now. So just that exosuit to go.
Okay. I'm going to pull him back into the woodland and rest and recuperate.
Okay, so he gets his point of suppression back.
I couldn't order him with the other exos because of his suppression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so remove activation tokens,
Yes, indeed.
and then we'll be back for the initiative roll. Okay, guys, so we've removed the tokens, but we completely forgot there is still one lone guy inside the Octorus Falx to go.
Wait for us, guys. Okay.
Well, in all due fairness, they are lugging out big, heavy chain guns. They're a bit slower than the other
That's
guys.
true. Weren't quite as quick to the punch as the other junkers.
No.
Okay. I'm going to move him out here. And I'm not doing further moves, because I'm not that it really matters under this particular circumstance. So yeah, what with that, I'm... Okay, I'm going to move him to here.
Yep.
And shoot up that SART team.
And they were vulnerable at the time, obviously.
They were vulnerable at the time. Anti-personnel 4 at this range.
Yeah.
Plus 2 for the
Vulnerable.
for coming out of a transport.
Yep.
And a further plus 2 because you're vulnerable.
So plus
Total
4 all
8.
told.
Plus-
With my suppression resistance.
Okay,
Total of
good.
plus 4. So that's 10. No matter what, I'm going to get at least one suppression, well, at least 2 suppression points here.
Which is either way you just...
Yeah, so that SART team is gone. Okay, so that's that, guys. So now we'll show the initiative rolls for the next turn.
Okay.
So Steve gets a 2, and I get a 5, so my activation. So we're back in a second, guys, when I work out what I want to do. Okay, guys, so I'm going to activate these guys and shoot over here to get rid of Steve's stuff. So I've shuffled just a little bit just to make it so things can see. So I'm going to have these two firing there at the armigers.
Are they the closest? Are the legionaries closer? Oh, sorry, which is your primary shooter there?
This guy.
Okay, so that's 11 and a bit, or
11.
11. Okay, fair play. Right. So and range was 11 with 2 SAMS teams.
I should have 4 with them no matter what.
SAMs at this range are anti-personnel 4 and support 2.
Okay, so I get plus 2 to the roll all told. So Steve gets a 6. I get a 5. Steve's fine. And then I'm going to have the Icon and the SAMS team. I'm going to have the Icon being the primary, obviously, also firing at the armigers.
Okay. So that's 6 plus 2, all told plus 4.
Okay, so Steve rolls a...
Wait. In a single order, you can only target 1 unit once.
I'll go for the Prinky Pays in that case. So all still told, all plus 4 though. So Steve rolls a 2. That is an 8 there, just obliterated.
They are destroyed.
Because that is plus 6 on Steve's, so the Prinky Pays are gone. Well, it's looking like it's going to go Steve's way at the moment, but you never know. Early days, boys, early days. So Steve, we'll be back when you're ready to activate something.
Okay.
So Steve was looking over here, so I'm guessing he wants to activate something over
Yes,
here.
indeed. I'm activating this
Fourth
legionary platoon.
Yeah.
I have 4 orders, but I only have 3 units, and ordering someone else is 2 orders, so I'll have to make do with this.
Okay.
My 2 Principe units will open up on the
Continue to
closest
do what they're
targets.
doing. Okay. So they no longer get the plus 2 for charging off.
That's true. But I'm still Assault 6 at this range.
So flat dice roll.
Flat dice roll.
So Steve gets a 5, I get a 5, so nothing happens.
Over there, I
You get
plus
plus
2.
2. So Steve gets a 3, I get a 5.
The Armiger, because
Yeah.
it has a higher anti-personnel and anti-material, ignores the closer target to shoot at a personnel target.
Okay. So I'm vulnerable, so you get +2 above anything else.
Yes, and at this range, I'm anti-personnel 6.
So you get...
all told, I get +4.
Oof. So Steve gets... they're gone. No, actually, no, they're not. If I roll a 6, they'll take a lot of suppression, but... No, they're gone.
Not like
With
that.
a 1, they are obliterated. As Steve and I were discussing off camera a minute ago, obviously you saw last time the bottle point was 50% your men. We have 9 bases apiece, so... no, I can't count. 17 bases apiece.
9 is our bottle point.
9 is our bottle point. So I'm ever so slightly than Steve, but it is anybody's game at the moment.
Absolutely.
So now it is my activation. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to come over here and activate the bear. That sounds a lot less intimidating than it was supposed to.
The bear.
The bear.
Alright, because
bear left.
Because it's so badly suppressed, that's 3 activations just to activate itself.
Yeah, it takes a butt ton of activations. However, that's fine because I'm only going to activate her in the process.
Okay.
So, back in a second, guys. The bear has moved right across to make herself vulnerable, and she's launched smoke to there, represented by the large blast.
Ben considered trying to move to attack this Draco, but because the exosuits are the more threatening target to her,
she would have to take them out.
She'd have to aim at them.
And that would be a -3 roll, we were told, because of your suppression
Plus
resistance
6
6.
exosuits in cover.
Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't worth the time and effort. Okay, so Steve, now your activation.
Okay. Well, thank you for giving me that cover there.
You're welcome. It's also hiding me from your Draco squadron.
Oh, well, that wasn't what I was looking at.
Yeah, I know.
Hello!
Yeah, I know. She's dead. I was fully anticipating that she would be dead right about now, but you know.
No, I'll have this one hang back and cover, actually.
Okay.
Right. So, let's see. My primary shooter is this exosuit here,
Yep.
which has anti-material 7.
Okay. And +2 for me being vulnerable.
So, yeah, that's all told +5.
Yep.
And even though I can only aim at an individual unit once, I think it's more efficient that I do this now.
+5, so that's a 6.
6.
That is also a 6.
I was not expecting that to happen.
No, neither was I.
Okay,
And then...
well, dang, I got overconfident. These 2 exos will combine fire on that
icon.
Normally I have to go for infantry first at this range, but I can't see any infantry because the icon's in the way.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I am... What's the range of that?
Obviously the close one being the primary, so that's...
11, so that's all told 4. So I get -2 there.
Don't you have support though?
That's including the support.
Oh, so -2. Still, if you can do something to... So that's a 1, so no matter what happens...
No, not so much.
Just for the sake of argument, 6 anyway.
No, that's all I can do.
Yeah, and obviously he can't see through smoke and you can't target him anyway.
Well, that was...
Ineffective?
ineffective, thank you.
Okay, so those 3 are now vulnerable. And, yeah.
That's
So
4, actually. That... And this, folks, is why you should...
Is he vulnerable? He just shuffled up, didn't he?
Oh, he didn't fire, so yes, he's just ordinaried.
Ordinary. Is that a word, Steve?
It is now.
It is now.
Neologisms!
Damn straight. Right, so we're back after my activation, guys.
Okay, so after much scouring of the rules for
Good 10 minutes of scouring.
10 minutes, we've figured out exactly how this works.
Okay.
You see, models get +2 to their anti-personnel or anti-vehicle when within 4 inches after they disembark.
Yep.
Did I say +2?
+2, yeah. Sorry, +1.
It's supposed to be
It's
+1.
We made a little mistake over there, but I don't think it made much of a difference.
What with the dice rolls, it was pretty decisive either way.
Yeah, it was.
Or -2 if they've moved and if they're moving and shooting out after disembarking.
At more than 4 inches.
At more than 4 inches. I think this is to encourage decisive mechanised strikes rather than kiting.
Now, namby-pamby Vass, not Vass, I've already in play. Okay.
And honestly, trying to aim a rifle while on the run is pretty hard, so...
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so Steve, the reason this came into play is because we were trying to work out how this would go down for my activation. So, as you can see, I've activated my second platoon, my all-infantry platoon, and they've basically chosen to go vulnerable so they can shoot. So my disperser team's moved out to here, outside of 4 inches, so I do get the -2, but he's it worked out as if I'd stay within 4 inches, he's naff at short range, he would have...
It was a bit of a muchness.
Yeah.
This way he gets a little bit more distance between him and the Junkers.
Yeah, but also, if I'd stayed within the 4 inches, because it's only +1, he would have had suppression rate, anti-personnel rate of 3, and now, even with the -2, he has anti-personnel rate of 4, so I'm better off that way. Okay, so we'll start with these two SART teams here, firing at that exosuit there.
Alright.
So I'm anti-personnel of...
Anti-personnel 4, support 2.
+1 for short range, and
Yep.
+2 for vulnerable.
Yes indeed. I'm defense 6, so all told we're getting +3.
Oof, that's nasty. So Steve gets a 2, and I get a 6, so that's 4 difference, so that's 2 suppression points.
Yes.
And then onto the disperser team firing at your lieutenant,
By himself?
with the other SART team here,
Okay, that's
supporting.
4, you said?
4 at this range with the -2, yes, +2 support there,
Right.
and +2 for vulnerable. So we're
Right.
told I get +2. So Steve rolls a 5, I roll a 7, so that's a 2, so that's a suppression point.
That's not as bad as it could have been.
No, that could have been a lot worse for you, Steve. So, now for Steve's activation.
Alright.
So we're back in a couple of minutes, guys. Steve.
Okay, that tank is still kind of looming, so my artillery Octorus is going to move around to this point here,
Yep.
and it's going to call upon its buddy over here to give it support fire to destroy it.
Okay.
Which that should be it.
Vulnerable to with him, yes.
So all told, I'm firing attack 4, support 3,
So
a total of 7.
and I've got resistance 6.
So I'm getting
you got
+1.
+1 to the table, yep. So that's a 3. That is a 5. There's nothing for you, Steve, I'm afraid. Okay. Right. In this case, seeing as Steve wants to play this game, I think I'm going to activate my 4th platoon.
Alright. Okay, well, that's 2 orders for the lieutenant because he's already suppressed.
Yep.
How are you using your other 2 orders?
I'm going to use my other order because that'll take 3 to do. So I'm just going to activate, because there's only actually 2 guys left in this platoon, I'm going to activate my other SART team and I'm going to have them both firing there.
Okay, is he the closest?
Well,
Yes.
I'm going to have him firing anyway with him supporting.
Alright.
So, 1 second, let's do this properly, Steve. Activation, and activation.
Alright, that's 2 SARTs.
Yep,
Attack 4.
so I get +2 all
Support 2.
told. Yep.
Indeed.
Steve gets a 4, nice decent roll there. I get a 4, they're fine. Okay, so that's Steve's activation.
Alright.
Dum dum dum.
Okay. Seeing as Ben so handily gave me some cover,
Yes.
I'm going to forward with these Principes
Cool.
at the double, and over here I'm going to sneak forward, getting line of sight on the captain. Normally I have to aim at the closer infantry, but I can't see them because my own men are in the way.
Nope, so.
So that's a vulnerable token here, here and here,
Yep.
and firing away.
And you get +1 all
Because you're
told.
suppressed, I get +1.
Vulnerable, Steve,
Yep.
not suppressed.
That's what I meant, yes. Although you're suppressed as well.
Well, yes, I am. In this case, it could be either or, but it is vulnerable that makes the difference. So Steve rolls a 4, and I roll a 5. Go, Captain. Okay, so now my activation. Now, there's only actually 1 squadron I have left to activate, and that is my Red Hammers.
What are you going to do?
Now, isn't that the question? I'll be back in 1 second, guys. I'll talk Steve through my move. So, Steve, if you could do it for me, please.
Okay.
So he's just going to move up to there, to be within 4 of the Principes, and So, and he's going to activate. So we'll do this. We'll do this first quickly, Steve.
Right. At 4 inches and less, they have their microwave cannons at full efficiency.
Yeah, this is obviously what we're talking about when we looked at the models, the little microwave cannons.
Let's turn you so that you look more aggressive.
Yeah.
And all told, you get attack 4 and +2 for the support.
Yeah, so
you get
+2 to my
all
dice.
told.
So Steve rolls a 1. Oh, not a good time for him to do that. That's a 6, so that's a 5, so that is 2 suppression points, I believe, Steve.
Yes, and nearly destroyed. But
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't roll a 5. And then I've also talked Steve through what I want to do over this side of the board. So, Steve, if you... My lieutenant.
Oh yeah, you want to move
My
out.
lieutenant is going to shuffle over a little bit and go vulnerable. And this guy is going to activate.
Right.
And they're going to fire into...
their fire on my Draco.
Yeah, they've got 48 inch range.
And
That's
again,
not
you
an
get +2
issue. Suppression 4 to your all told to your...
to my defense of 4.
Yeah, so but he is vulnerable, so +2 there. So
Oh, I forgot. Yes. My apologies. +4.
are they?
I'm vulnerable.
Are they anti-material 3? Are they?
Your anti-material 4, support 2,
So that's
vulnerable.
right.
+2.
Yeah. Okay. So +4 all told then. So Steve rolls a 4. 6. That's a destroyed Draco.
Boom.
Okay, so that's one less piece of artillery coming at me now. So that's good. So now, Steve, your activation.
Right.
So we're back when Steve works out what he... In fact, you've only got lone guys left, haven't you?
Well,
Oh, and you're captain.
yes.
And I have one lone guy left to activate as well.
Hang on.
So we're back in a couple of minutes, guys.
Okay. This tank is continuing to annoy me. So, I'm going to drive out.
Brum, 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 brum.
Giving me
Vulnerable token.
a wonderful token.
Cool.
I'm going to order one of my remaining Dracos to support me.
Cool.
And they're going to bombard. Oh, sorry.
Not bombard, direct fire.
Yeah. Because bombarding while so many of my own men are so close would be a terrible plan.
Do it! Do it!
I'm going to direct fire at you.
Okay.
Falx is my main shooter, Draco supporting. +1 all told.
+1 all told. Okay, so Steve rolls a 3, and I roll a 6.
What's with that dice?
I don't know! I don't know! So, I think this is the perfect upper time. Another new word for you guys.
And I'm not finished yet.
Oh, and you're going to order...
Moving these guys over here, because they are now out of line of sight, I'm going to rest and recuperate.
Cool. So there we go in their thing. So I'm now going to turn him, and I'm going to have him, I think now's the perfect time to do it, fire at your commander.
Well, for one thing, they are the primary target. Those guys right there, right in front of you.
But don't I have much better anti...
No, you have exactly the same.
Okay, back in 1 second. Okay, so after a little discussion, I've moved my icon up, made him vulnerable. He's now going to shoot at the Octorus Falx, the lieutenant of the
artillery unit.
So, anti-material of 6, I believe, Steve?
That's right.
And vulnerable, so suppression...
So you're getting +4.
+4, okay. Not a bad roll. I need 6 to kill it. Although it's only got 1 suppression point left anyway. And I got the 6.
What's with that dice?
No, I don't want the 6 now. I know I said I needed it, but yeah.
Hasn't that dice rolled 6 about 2/3 of the times you've rolled it?
No, it quite often rolls 5 as well. Okay, I'd like to say I blame Team Belgium on this respect. Roll one more for fairness sake, Steve.
2 6s out of 4, that's...
I blame Team Belgium. Okay, so that Octorus Falx has been destroyed. So that puts us at still a very close game. As I thought, Steve, do you want to put the Draco? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. The Draco technically should be over there, but it was right in the corner.
Yeah.
It's not. The point being, the Draco was in the
Nobody
position.
can hide behind it.
No, they cannot. Okay, so I believe that's everything, isn't it, Steve?
Not quite. This Draco hasn't activated yet.
No, he
I
hasn't.
couldn't order it because it was always shocked.
Yes, it was. Okay, so yeah,
Hang on.
back in a second then, guys. Steve, after much contemplation, has worked out.
It's suboptimal, but it's the only thing I can do right now.
Okay.
My Draco, because it has higher anti-personnel and anti-material, can't aim at the vulnerable icon right in front of it, and has to aim at the further away personnel.
The SART team here. Okay.
Also, I'd like to shell these guys, but there's the smoke in the way.
Oh.
helped both of us.
Yes,
so I
yes, it
shouldn't
did.
complain too
No,
much.
exactly.
All told, I get +1 against them.
+1.
+1. I'm anti-personnel 5. I've got incendiary missiles.
Oh, okay. So Steve rolled a 7. I rolled a 2, so that's a 5. So that's 2 points of suppression for them.
2?
That's a 7. Yeah, 5 difference.
Oh yeah, that's suppressed and vulnerable.
Is it?
Oh, of course,
No,
this is
it's direct fire,
yes.
so it's 2 points of suppression.
I'm sorry, I'm being an idiot. Okay, there we go.
A 5 on the regular one would only be vulnerable, isn't it? On the barrage would only be vulnerable, isn't it?
I'm glad I did direct fire this turn.
Yes.
Okay, is there anything else in your army?
No, that's everything. So it is literally just removing of orders and
Removing of smoke as well.
removing the smoke, yeah, and then obviously re-rolling for initiative.
Okay.
So back in a minute, guys.
Okay, rolling for initiative, suckers.
Steve gets a 4, nice respectable dice roll. Steve goes first, and he just shuffle him back a bit. For those of you who don't know what Steve's referencing, there's Tiny Tina's
Salt and Dragon Keep.
Salt and Dragon Keep. That's the one of the DLCs from Borderlands 2. Very good game.
So you could say, punch the initiative.
Yeah, you could almost say that. Okay, so Steve,
Right.
who's going what and where?
Let me see.
Back in 1 minute, guys.
My captain is going to order all 3 of my remaining Dracos to rain down hell on those mechanized Vasa.
No! Okay. Not really much I can do about that. Basically, you're just trying to kill my captain now, aren't you?
They're close enough together that a bombardment here is going to cause merry havoc.
Very true, very true.
I can get 4 like so.
Get all 4 of them, yeah, okay. So,
Right, and I'm combined bombardment of 9.
yep,
So your dispersers, I get +5.
yep. So that's 8. So that's a 5.
Yep, that's a vulnerable counter.
Yep, okay.
The captain,
Yep,
I get.
same again.
Yep.
That is a 7 this time. That's a 5, a vulnerable.
Alright, the men at the front.
Excuse me, that's an 8. That's a 5 again, so another vulnerable. That wrong one. That's what I'm looking for. And the last start team. 7, 6, so they're vulnerable and take a point of suppression.
That's right.
Oh. And you want to put...
There we go. That's a weight off my mind.
Yeah, I bet it is. No, you didn't get them, Steve.
Oh, sorry, which one's... Oh,
They're
my
mine.
mistake.
My sergeant's fine. So, now my activation, guys. Back in 1 second. So, Steve.
So Ben has decided that rather than allow these guys to be massacred with chain guns, he's going to launch his own barrages in there, catching some of his own men in the process.
Worst case scenario, I'm going to do 1 point of suppression damage to them. Worst case scenario, you fight them, you kill them.
I do see your point.
Okay, so should we start off with my SART team, Steve?
Alright,
So
you're attacking with 8 bombardments,
Yep.
so you get +4.
And +2 for the vulnerable as well.
And +2 for being vulnerable.
So +6 all told.
Right, I'm going to roll for the attackers.
So I get 9.
They are...
Oh, sorry, you're doing the attackers. I get 3 defense. So
Well, even so, they have gained a suppression point.
yeah.
Fortunately for them, they're already vulnerable, so there's no further effect there.
Okay, so we'll start with your exosuits on the left.
With this one.
Those ones there, yeah.
Alright, you get +2.
Yes, I do. So Steve gets a 2, not a bad dice roll. I get a 6. Sorry, a 4. A 6, which works out as 4.
Right, so they gain a vulnerable counter.
Yes, they do.
And what with being on 2 suppression points, again, that could have been worse.
That could have been a lot worse.
The exosuits.
Yep. So 4, a 4, so
They
dead
get
level,
nothing.
and the
And this
exo.
one,
So that's a 5, so it's beaten by 4, so they're vulnerable. Okay. I would like to have killed those exosuits there, but that'll have to do.
I'm sure you would.
Yes. So, Steve, your activations. We're back in a minute, guys.
Alright, over here, my armigers are going to get ready to shoot these sarts,
Okay.
and my Principe Centurion is going to move over here.
Okay. So I'm guessing they're both going vulnerable then.
No, the armiger is turning on the spot, which isn't considered a move.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yes, of course they are.
Just so that they look as if they're pointing their guns in the right direction.
Well, you never know. They could just be absolutely that skilled. Although, to be fair, they wouldn't be armigers or generic junkers. They'd be Praetorians at that stage.
When you're firing an enormous chain gun, you don't need to be too accurate, right? They had shotguns. It's possible to miss with a shotgun.
Very true, very true. No, my point being, Steve, that's why you need to be a little more accurate with the chain guns.
Ooh. Hey, life is cheap in Iron Glass.
Oh, such a good thing it's not like in Urban War where you shoot into combat, because we know what happens there, don't we, Matt? Matt isn't here at the moment, but it's still one of the funniest things we've ever seen.
For those of you who haven't been following this channel, there was a moment in one of our earlier battles where...
It was our very first one, in fact. Our very first Urban War one, anyway.
The first one Matt was in, anyway.
No, it was the first one we did was kidnapping.
Okay, anyway, yes. Matt, there was a big melee with one of my Black Legion and 3 of Matt's Junkers.
Mm-hmm.
Matt fired in there with chain guns.
So can we just say one of them was an exosuit as well? That's a key factor there.
And managed to kill 2 of his own men.
Including the exosuit.
Including the exosuit.
And the Black Legionnaire was going,
Wait,
thanks.
Was it 3 Junkers in the melee?
It was either 2 or 3.
I seem to remember he killed all the Junkers that were in the melee.
It might well have been. No, in fact, I think it was 3 because I'm pretty sure he hit 3 times.
Okay.
Either way, guys, we can't remember. It was a couple of months back. Go and check it out. It's the first Urban War battle rep we did. It's titled Kidnapping. So it was a hilarious game, good game. Matt's learnt a lot since then.
Also a very fun scenario. I recommend you try it.
It was a very fun scenario. The link for the scenario and all the other scenarios as well, except for Atrocity, I believe, which has been conceived since then.
Yes, that's right.
Is in the description of that video.
Like many of the best scenarios, it's one that's very hard to get completely right on either side.
Definitely, definitely. And it's even harder if your name happens to be Matt, apparently. So yeah, little planal chug there, guys. Is a good battle.
Anyway, firing away.
Yes.
My Principes open up on your Sark team. I get +2.
Oh yeah, because you're awesome.
You're there, and hopefully I can hit the table.
And you miss. You missed the table. Well, we know how that works. Steve's guys have missed completely. No, of course not. That would be completely harsh. So Steve gets a 5 all told because he gets a +2 because shotguns are awesome at close range.
That's 3 enough for destroying them.
Boom! So that's a Sark team gone.
My armigers aren't moving and they have assault 6 at more than 4 inches.
And I assume they're getting... Oh no, they can't. Obviously, they can't be activated, can they?
As with many heavy weapons, they work better a little bit beyond ultra close range.
Yeah, when the guy's not trying to climb over the heavy weapon. Okay.
Again, so I get +2.
+2, yeah. So that is a 4 this time. That is a 4.
Okay, that's no effect.
No.
They all hit the dirt and they're fine.
Yep. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If it wriggles, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, explosions. That's how that run goes, right, Steve?
Something like that.
Right, back in a second, guys.
Pop go.
Guys, so Steve and I talked about this a little bit just to make sure I could do what I was planning. I'm going to activate my 2nd platoon lieutenant. Now, because everyone else is already vulnerable from Steve's barrage, and in one case hurt from my barrage, I cannot obviously use any of his extra orders.
Because they're all activated because vulnerability is a kind of activation.
But what I can do is I can shout down the radio to a different platoon using 2 of my orders to issue an order to the Icon. So the Icon's going to...
As you can see, because it's not his platoon, the order costs double.
Yeah,
but
it makes
because
sense.
he can't use any of his other orders, he might as well try.
Yes, try and get attention of the guy, attention of the guy first. So the lieutenant is going to move up to there.
Calls over to 3rd platoon. We need support now.
And let's just turn him just to make it look a bit better. Okay, and then the Icon is pivoted on the spot. So he's going to open fire at that exosuit unit there.
So supporting.
And the SAR is supporting.
All right. So you're shoot 6.
Yep.
I'm defense 6. I'm suppressed, and you're supporting. You get +4.
Okay, and again, vulnerable, not suppressed, Steve. We must remember this. So I get +4 to the dice roll. And just to keep Steve happy, I am using a different dice.
I got a 6.
Okay, so I need, just for the people at home, I need at least a 1 to kill them, basically.
Yeah.
So I need to roll 3 or higher.
Just roll the dice.
3.
That's enough.
That'll do it.
Just barely.
Because they only had 1 point of suppression left. That is a unit of exosuits gone. So, that's my activation. So now we'll be back in a few minutes for Steve's activation.
Okay, I'm activating my exosuit cohort.
Okay. So obviously 2 used up on him.
That's 3, but I can't use
Yeah,
it.
the other guy's dead and they're vulnerable, so not an issue.
Now, because exosuits have anti-material 7, ranges of 4 inches and less.
Mm-hmm.
For the exosuit Centurion, the bear is the priority target. For the further away ones, the infantry are.
Okay. So should we start with the which one are you going for
Let's start
first,
with the
Steve?
Centurion. And anti-material 7, you're suppressed. Pin.
Vulnerable.
Thank you.
Too many games, too many turns. So all told, +5.
All told, +5.
So that's the bear gone.
That's the bear gone.
No matter what happens, you're going to put at least 2 points of suppression onto her.
Bada boom.
Okay, so that's my... And obviously that then becomes cover. So Steve and I were talking about this a second ago. That now puts the game at square peggings at 4 apiece.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
My further away exosuits open up on those closest SARTs.
Okay.
I am anti-personnel 6, +2 for your suppression.
Okay, so
+4
+4
to my dice roll. That's a
So
5.
9, so 6, a 3. So I can survive this, but I need a 6. And then I'll only take 1 point of suppression. Because you rolled a 9, if I roll a 6,
roll
I'll be
the
3.
dice.
No, they're
Oh, you're dead.
They're very much dead. So that puts the game in Steve's favour now. And now it's my activation, guys. So I'll be back in a second. Hey guys, so my Sam's lieutenant here and the other Sam's team are going to fire onto the Armiger. So total of 6 to me, so suppression resistance of 4 for Steve.
That's right, you get +2 to your dice roll.
So Steve rolls 3, not a bad. That's a 6, so that's a 3, so that's
3,
1 point of suppression on the other table.
Yes, that's right.
So the Armigers are aching a little bit. Steve, you still have your Prinky Bay squad to go?
Yes, indeed. And you've activated everything, have you?
I have one guy left to activate and no
okay.
no squads.
Right. Well, that's awkward.
Back in a second, guys. So Steve's now worked out what he wants to do.
Alright, now some people consider this to be a rather rash move, but you don't get to be a junker Centurion by faffing about.
Exactly.
Forward!
March, march, march. Ah, no. And of course that front unit of Prinky Pays is within 4 inches, I'm guessing.
Not quite. But,
You got to march forward.
yeah.
You're better in 4 inches, so you got to keep marching forward.
That's vulnerable tokens for all 3 of those.
Cool.
There we go. Alright, I'm going to commence with these 2 teaming up to fire at that Sam's team at the front.
Okay, so all told you're
I have
plus...
6 at this range,
Yeah, and you got +2 for the vulnerable.
so all told +4.
Yep. So that's a 6, not a bad result, Steve. Oh, and it's a 3, so +3.
+1 suppression for you.
Yep. So the Sam's leader takes a hit, but otherwise he's fine.
And the Trinkepays over there open up on the KV-18.
Okay, so you have -2, I think, at this range.
Yes.
Still,
Worth a try.
yeah, he's only got 1 point of suppression left.
Oh.
No. So that's a 1 to anything. So,
That KV has a cursed existence. Well, from my point of view, anyway.
He really does. Okay, so Steve and I both have one lone guy to activate. I have the KV, the icon, and Steve has his unit of Prinkepays here.
Right, what are you going to do?
So, Steve, can you put my icon into a position where the Prinkepays, the Prinkepays lieutenant is the closest?
Okay, like so.
That'll do. Awesome. So I'm just outside of 4 inches. Don't think it makes much of a difference with the icon, does it? Or does he have microwave cannons as well?
Let's see. He does have microwave cannons, but at this range they're not his primary weapon.
No, but the point, is he any better at short range, or is he?
I don't
He's actually
think
worse
so.
at short range.
At ultra short range he's worse,
Yep.
but as long as he's outside of 4 inches...
So right, shuffle me back just a tiny bit then, Steve, just to make sure. Yeah, that'll do.
Okay.
Just to make sure. Okay,
So
I
actually,
get...
yes, at 4 inches you don't have microwave cannons. At more than 4 inches you can use your main cannon.
Okay, so suppression rate, anti-personnel rate of 6.
Yep.
+2 for vulnerable.
Yep, so all told you get +4.
Yes, I do. So Steve rolls a 6. Very nicely done, Steve. I roll an 8. That is a point of suppression.
Yes, indeed.
Because I'm +2 on
I'm
Steve.
not sure you can really congratulate me for being lucky with dice.
It happens. And then Steve's got his unit of
Right.
Prinkepays over here.
I fire on the SARTs at point blank.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, hold on. I still have that lieutenant to order.
And that's...
Well, but he's a lone guy anyway, so...
That's true. Anyway, I got 7.
7, yes you did, because you got 6 at short range. I got 5, so you're +2, so I take another point of suppression. And he's going to fire back.
Okay.
And you're obviously activated, but it doesn't make a difference.
Yep, no modifiers.
Yep. So Steve gets a 1. Ooh. So that's 4 difference, so the Principes are dead, yeah. However, I did take it on the chin for it. So, I believe that's everything activated now, Steve, is it not?
Right. I think so.
Yeah, that's everything. So we'll remove activations and show you the initiative roll, guys. Back in a minute. So, that's activations removed. Steve, initiative roll. Steve gets a 5. Very nice, Steve. I get a 6.
Oh, what's with that dice?
Sorry, but I've fluffed most of the initiative rolls recently.
You've still got lots of 6s on that dice.
Well, yes, I have.
Anyway, what do you want to do?
It's my weird happy fun time noises, guys. Okay. So I think, can these guys see over there?
Which guys?
Him.
Looks to me as if that might be your own wrecked command vehicle.
Right, if I shuffle up 4 inches I should be able to. Or 6 inches rather, I can, can't I? Oh yeah, that's nice and easy. Awesome.
Don't forget that
No, but if I'm going...
infantry do themselves will block line of sight.
Yeah, but if I'm going barrage, what I mean is bombard. 1 sec. Okay, so it worked it out. Keeping the red hammer still, I'm going to activate all of them. I'll sort their activation markers out in a second. I'm going to fire at the exosuits.
Alright, all told you get +2 for your bombard.
Yes, I do. So
Exosuit formation number 1.
yeah, so Steve gets a 4. I get a 6, that's an 8, so...
And again, what's with that dice?
I have no idea. I do apologise, Steve.
The Exosuit Centurion.
Yep, Steve gets a 2. That's a 6 all told, so +4, so vulnerable again. So it didn't hurt them, but it means they can't activate at least, which is something. So, be back in a second when Steve works out what he wants to do. Okay, Steve, open fire.
Okay.
Well, please don't, but if you must.
Right, I'm activating these Principes here.
Yep. Get them within short range.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving into position like so.
Okay.
I'm going to start out with these two concentrating fire on that damned icon.
Okay, so you are +2 all told.
Assault, anti-material 6, support 2, +2.
Okay. Steve gets a 6. Ooh, very good for Steve. What do I get? A 5. Steve gets a 1. No result. Oh, sorry.
Suppression.
Sorry, yeah, wrong table.
Enough to destroy you.
That is the icon gone, which puts Steve in the lead. Steve needs to kill 3 units now to win. I need to kill 4. It tells you how close this game is, guys.
The other Principe unit
I'm going to open fire at the start, team.
opens up on the sides.
Awesome. So +2 all told then for being awesome at short range. So that's a 4. That's a 4.
Okay.
Okay.
And my Principe Centurion is going to lay down some smoke to stop the others from interfering. Uncle.
Okay, so right there.
So just double check that I am in range to do that. Not quite that far. There we go.
Okay. So, fair enough, Steve, fair enough. In which case, I'm going to activate this lieutenant here for 2 orders. And I'm going to activate this disperser team with another order. And that's 3. And I can't use any more because the other person is suppressed. And I'm going to open fire on your exosuit Centurions.
Well...
Starting with the disperser team.
Oh, they're firing, they're supporting.
And they're supporting.
I get it.
So I am suppression rate 8, I believe, at this range.
Let's see, 6. Yes, that's right.
And I get 10.
So all told +4.
+4, yeah, okay. So that's a 4. That's a 9. That's
+2 suppression, they're destroyed.
Yeah, so that's 3 to go apiece then, Steve. This is coming down to the wire, this game is. It's amazing how often of our games actually seem to do that.
Okay.
So, we'll be back in a second, guys.
Over here, my Principes and Armigers are going to move into position to finish off these sards.
Yeah.
I have anti-personnel 6
At
and
short
support
range,
3.
Yeah, so
All told, I get...
+5.
Yes, indeed.
So that is an 8. No matter what I roll, I am going to get a singular point of suppression.
So they're destroyed.
Because a 6 leaves you 2, it's 1 to 3. So yeah. So that's 2 for Steve. To the wire, folks. To the wire. Okay, so back in 1 second. Guys, so I've come up with an idea that I haven't run past Steve. So here it is. So I'm going to start by... Basically, I'm issuing orders to all 3 of these.
Right.
I'm just going to pivot him now just to get out of the way.
Okay.
I'm going to fire these 2 at the closest infantry unit.
Okay.
Because I'm firing them first.
So that's...
+2 all
4 plus
yep.
2 for support.
Yeah.
So all 3 get +2.
So that's a 4 for Steve, so I need a 6 really. No, that's a
Nothing
3.
happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. Okay, but I now can't target him
Right.
with the icon. So the icon is going to go for the Principes.
Oh, I see. You're in range, and I am...
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable, thank you.
So I'm +4 all told.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so come on then, Steve. What have we got? Steve's got a 2. That's 9.
Yep. Boom.
Kaboom. So again, down to the wire. So that's, what, 6 apiece now, Steve?
Something like that. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
7, including the...
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
And
So,
don't forget the...
yeah, and I'll activate them in a sec. So back in a second, guys, once I've activated and Steve's worked out what he wants to do.
Right. My Octorus is going to turn on the spot and order support fire from the Exosuits and Draco. My Octorus and Draco will combine fire on these sarts.
On this, the lieutenant of the second
right.
platoon, yeah? Okay,
I have anti-personnel 4, support 3. I get +3 to my dice roll.
awesome. Very nice, Steve. So that's a 7 all told. That's them gone. So that puts Steve down to 1 to go. Whoa. Is Steve about to take it this turn?
My Exosuits open up on those suppressors with anti-personnel.
Yep.
They have firepower 6, they get +2 to their dice roll.
Yep. 4. 4.
They do nothing.
Okay, so now my activation. I have a lone guy who can activate, because I might as well do something with him. And it's obviously this guy under here. Steve, seeing as you fired at me, I assume these guys can see your Principes there? They should be able to.
That seems right. Yeah, and they're... Wait.
I'll shuffle a bit if I have to.
Okay, I'm just seeing which is closer. It's 4.5 or 5.
So
Yes,
the
they
Principes are closer. Okay, so all told, I get +2 for your vulnerable.
And
So
that's all.
Yep. So Steve gets a 4, not bad, not bad, not bad. I get a 7, which is 3, which is 1 point of suppression.
Yes, indeed.
And then Steve has 2 Dracos to activate.
Yes. All right. So shuffle this one down to here, and open up on your
That unit of Sarts.
unit there.
Okay.
I don't believe I can get any support fire from these guys.
No, you've got plenty of... I think no matter what, you're going to have guys in the way.
Yeah, so I'll worry about that one later.
Okay.
So this one's just a... This one's +1 because I'm using anti-personnel rockets.
And you got, yeah, Hellfire rockets, isn't it? So
Yep.
+1. So 6. 6, dead level. And then your other
With
Draco.
that dice!
I love this dice. Thank you, Team Belgium, or whoever it was that gave it. No, I ended up scrounging it off of by accident.
Fine. Rockets at your Sam's leader.
Okay, so you get +3 this time.
Oh yes, because... No.
No, so they've just activated, haven't they?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so +1
Still,
still.
that's the best I can do.
Yeah. So that's a 3 to 1, so that's 1 point of suppression on a 2.
Indeed. Okay.
Okay, so that is all of the activations, guys. So once again, we're back once we've removed tokens and rolling for the initiative.
Right. Down to the wire.
We can't stress how tense this is, guys. Basically, whoever gets this is now going to win. Steve has to
need
get...
to kill 2 more squads of Junkers. Junkers need to kill only 1 more squad of
If I
Monsters.
want any chance of doing that, I have to get the initiative now. Oh, yeah, and we've got an order there. So yes, happens. There's a lot of guys.
Alright.
Oh no, not good. Oh, 5 and 5.
No!
Yes! Oh God! Oh dear! Oh dear! Poor old Steve.
Are you sure this isn't loaded?
Look, if it is, it's not my fault because I picked it up off the floor at Cali. No, I'm fairly sure it's not loaded. Apparently, it just really, really loves random strangers that pick it up off the floor. So we're back in a second, guys. Okay, guys. So third platoon is going to activate. So I'm starting with the icon firing at your Octorus Falk. He's gone vulnerable, so I've put him in a position where it's a little bit harder for Steve to get to.
Normally, you have to shoot the infantry, but he can't see these because of the wreck. He can't see these because of the big building.
Yeah. Okay. So all told, I get +2 to this for anti-material
That's
6. Oh, so Steve gets a 4, so I can't kill it, but I can do at least a bit of damage. 4. No, I don't.
It does nothing.
And then these two are firing on the armigers.
Right, so all told you get +2.
Yes, I do. 7. So there's
That's
1
a
point of
single
suppression.
point.
Bugger! Die! I don't think we've ever used this many panic tokens either, have we? Okay.
Well, it's combat everywhere.
Yes, it is. Okay, so now Steve's activation.
Alright.
Steve has precisely 2 lieutenants left, or 2 order characters left, 1 lieutenant, 1 captain. Not like that.
Yes, that would do nicely. Okay,
So Steve has worked out his plan.
right. Gaius Magnus orders the Draco Squadron. These two combine their fire on this SART team.
Awesome.
Firepower 5, support 3.
Okay, so
Sort of +4.
+4 all told. So this is a big roll, this is. So that's a 10. A 6 will be a 4. That's game over. No matter what I roll, you're going to do 2 points of suppression to them.
Yes, you're quite right.
That is game over, guys. Well.
And just to see if I can kill that with my last activation,
I
get
flat roll.
flat roll, so it's not very likely, but
No.
no, okay.
And I'd just like to point out, guys, that's a 6 on a different dice.
With too many casualties, the Vasa finally fall back.
Although it wouldn't have taken much longer for it to have gone to
We
me.
took a beating, but
Yes, we did.
life is cheap on iron glass.
Indeed. So we'll have a post-game review in a couple of minutes, guys. Well, it'll be about 5 seconds for you, but it'll be a little bit for us. In the meantime, thank you very much, Steve. Always shake your opponent's hand. As I say, here at Anything But Wargaming, we like to have fun, and it's all about being a good sport. If you're a bad sport, people don't want to play you.
Very true.
So we're back in about 10 seconds for you guys.
Okay,
so there you have it, guys.
that was savage.
Yeah, I mean, 2 kills difference. It was about 4 last time. Obviously, when we made mistakes, it does happen.
Although that being said, looking at the way the battle was laid out at the end, if we continued it, the Junkers on my left flank would have carried on sweeping through.
Yeah, I think, I took a gamble on that last. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen from that last activation I got in, because I don't think I would have had any other options. I mean, it was worth a try. We obviously talked it through. Had it worked, I could have potentially won in one go. All I would have had to have done is 2 points of suppression to that guy on the left flank.
Also, I think that the way the order system works, because of the amount of attrition that both sides suffer, you don't really need to play past that halfway point, because it will be so hard for a force with not enough orders to carry on fighting after they've been attrited to that degree.
You're entirely right there, Steve. But like I say, all I had to do was 2 points of suppression to that last pre-pay unit, not outside the realms of possibility.
You probably would have destroyed those armigers, but that entire mechanised assault on the right flank, it did what it needed to do. It destroyed one platoon and threatened that side.
Definitely, but like I say, I mean, it was he had 1 on him. This guy over here, it wasn't outside the realms of possibility. I could have taken him out. It was theoretically possible I could have taken out your captain for the win. However, it would have been very tight. It would have required
quite a bit of luck.
It basically would have required you to have rolled a 1 and for me to roll a 5 or 6, or if you'd roll a 2, for me to roll a 6, because I've got the +2 anyway.
Any thoughts on how your particular units performed relative to last time?
The Red Hammers,
Or
again,
even in
the
larger
Red
scale.
Hammers, again, I think were overall the thing that kept my army together going.
Being able to suppress units
Yeah.
of bombardments is
Yeah,
so
definitely.
useful.
You know, I was taking out the reason I took out exosuits
well,
was because of vulnerability.
After you made your mechanised attack, I was like, I'm rather outnumbered in this particular area. Pin them down. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, being the bombard, while it does a maximum of 1 suppression point, it, you know, the fact that you can,
The fact that it can activate the enemy.
yeah, or even make them vulnerable, even better, make them vulnerable. You know, like I say, the exosuits being toughness, being suppression resistance 6. I was relying on that vulnerability, and that was what's letting me pick
Actually,
it off.
on that note, I was really pleased with the way Rain Hell worked.
Yes.
It kept your heads down for that little space of time that I
Definitely.
needed to sweep in with everything.
Definitely took 2 of my lieutenants out of that round, which was big. I mean, obviously they weren't dead, but they couldn't do anything, which was hugely important. Obviously, you said a second ago, off camera, you were obviously, last time Steve wasn't very impressed with his exosuits.
This time, they did a lot better.
Definitely.
Being tough infantry in cover, just don't shift.
Yeah, also, obviously, the fact that we're rolling 2 dice against each other makes it a little bit harder to kill them.
I mean, yes, half of my exosuit squadron was destroyed in the end, but
Took a hell of a lot to do.
you took bombardments and mass troops and tanks.
Yeah, no, it was. They were very, very tough, and overall, it was an incredibly close game. Like I say, Steve had 9 to 7.
Actually, heck, with the mechanized attack, lesser troops might have folded then.
Definitely.
The Exos allowed me to hold that line long enough for the second platoon to move into a support me.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, we used smoke this time, so we didn't use last time. That made a big difference quite often.
Smoke's quite subtle, but
It's very effective. I mean, obviously, I still got that one SAMS unit around and managed to fire or something.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact of the matter is that I was able to block you there. Obviously, you were able to use that.
I'm
to come
thinking also
towards
in
me.
areas that are quite urbanised, lots of tall buildings, an advancing infantry platoon
Oh, yeah,
could easily
I mean-
lay down smoke to completely block enemies from seeing them.
I mean, on a board with more terrain than obviously we had, and as I say, part of the Kickstarter is that they've already announced that obviously they're releasing terrain pieces, scale terrain pieces.
There are some terrain pieces already on the Kickstarter, but I've seen the 3D prints for some of the ones that are in the works.
Ooh.
There's some lovely junker terrain pieces, with huge holographic billboards for propaganda on.
Very nice, very nice. So proper scale pieces of terrain that fit the setting. I'll be honest, the ones that are on the Kickstarter page at the moment look like something, quite frankly, out of Star Wars from Tatooine.
I believe those are third party.
Are they third party, are they? Nonetheless, they do look nice. They do look quite Tatooine-ish, so if you want to play, urban war on Tatooine, knock yourself out. But those are out there, they're obviously to scale.
But there are more appropriate things in the works.
There are
so
more
keep your
appropriate
eyes
things in
open.
the works. That's nice. That's really good to know. And obviously, speaking of stuff in the works, I don't think John will have any issue with us mentioning this because he's put the pictures up.
There are pictures for the first Vasa and Viridian aircraft.
Yes, I mentioned this last time. Obviously, Steve mentioned this in our little taster review of the models, saying there was stuff coming out. There are now concept arts.
There's been concept arts for a while.
Well, yeah, but the point being that there's images that will be used for obviously the 3D printing images.
Oh, yes, that's right. Also, one fun thing that Ben noticed is that the shadow cast by the Vasa jet is shaped like a star.
Yes, rather than that's not the drop ship. That's the gunship.
Gunship, yes.
Yes, and it is shaped conveniently like the Vasa symbol. I'd love to see them do that with the Junker one, but I think it would be a bit of a clunky flyer if they do that. Also missing half of it.
Well, Junkers do use Zeppelins. If they come at you head on, it would look a lot like a...
It wouldn't look too far off it, yeah.
I mean, if you... Actually, I believe there's some of the very old art. There's a picture of a big Junker Zeppelin with the Junker Imperium symbol on the nose cone.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's something I can't remember. I've seen that somewhere else, but that it's a nice way. It's a good way of doing it. It's leaves you in no doubt who it is.
Well, honestly, if there's a giant armoured Zeppelin about to shoot your face off, it's probably Junkers.
and you've probably got other concerns as well at that stage. Rather than, oh look, there's the iron, there's the Junkers. But oh my god! Yeah, you've got other concerns. Run like hell.
Actually, as a side note, although it's not something that I believe is planned at the moment, in big, large-scale planetary operations, I think it's mentioned that the Junkers do use suborbital Zeppelins as command vehicles.
Cool. I thought you were going to say suicide bombers there. That would be absolutely hilarious.
No, you just got the big Zeppelin floating in the background.
It'd be like the slowest suicide bomb ever.
Well, if you can't shoot it out of the sky, then it doesn't matter whether it is slow or not.
That's very true.
Enemy base sighted. Very good.
Although being slow, it would make it slightly easier to shoot out of the sky.
Well, that's true.
just faster. The Vasa jets come past. We can't make an attack run, sir. It's not going fast enough.
Well, there was a recorded instance in World War I where a Zeppelin L4, I think, had a shootout with a Royal Navy cruiser. Neither was destroyed, but the fact that you can do that's impressive.
It is rather impressive. But yes, so they're on the works, because like I say, we've seen some of the images that we used for the 3D printing. I don't know about Steve, but I can't wait for them. And as Steve says, the shadow is just it's a nice little touch. It is.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Synther and Junker models look like.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Junkers might well be Zeppelins. You hope so, to a certain degree.
I hope they get Zeppelin sooner or later, but
yes.
Well, I think the first strike craft will likely be smaller.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The strike craft probably will, but like dropships and stuff like that, quite plausibly Zeppelins.
Maybe.
There's lots of space in them.
That's true.
And that's exactly how the Junkers do. Just cram in you go.
Well, heck.
If someone lets rip in there, they'll all know.
Well, the Octorus Falx. It's carries a little over 70 men.
Just a couple then. Just one or two. But yeah, so again, that was Age of Tyrant, guys.
Also, as for letting rip in there, that's why you have gas masks.
Yes. Yeah, like they're going to be issued with guaranteed working gas masks. If they're still intact and someone else who died was using it, they'll probably just be reissued to someone, and then there's no guarantees of it working.
Well, it still smells of leather and rubber, but
honestly, and possibly brain fluid, depending on where he got shot.
Even the Junker consuls don't see the benefit of your own men dying of poison gas.
That's a fair comment. But yeah, so that was Age of Tyrants, guys. Played correctly this time.
Oops.
Okay. So yeah, but yeah, obviously we are only human. We do make mistakes. It's as simple as that. You know, we got told about our mistakes. We took the opportunity to come back and to refilm. It happens.
And honestly, having the being able to do this with the knowledge of how the companies work,
definitely
the tricks you can play with them,
definitely makes it a much better game. Much better game. I mean, obviously, as you saw in the first game, we both bunched up quite a bit in that game. I mean, like my red hammers, for instance, spread right across the board. And the idea behind that,
and they have so much range that you don't need to cluster them together.
Definitely.
Unless you're planning to use them for direct fire, then you might want to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. My idea behind that, however, was that basically before I was obviously stymied by lack of line of sight. This time I had more options of line of sight measuring
also by
dice.
spreading them out, it makes it harder for enemy artillery to
definitely. Before you were just making all of them, barring the one lone guy who'd gone off by himself, vulnerable at once.
Although I was always losing the initiative, as I recall, so it made no difference.
Well, I mean, the two times you got the 2 times
they were always able to get their shots off.
No, because there were 2 times you had initiative in the last game.
Sure.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, and you managed to make them both. Both times, the first thing you did was go for them, make them vulnerable, so I couldn't get the shots off. So it's definitely a lot more effective, and I like the fact that you can string them out like that, and obviously because of radios and stuff like that, they can still benefit from one another. That's a nice little touch, that is.
Also, as we saw here, once infantry start to get in really close and personal, artillery becomes a lot less useful.
It really does. It really does. I mean, obviously, I took the gamble and hit my own guy. Okay, I suppressed him, but the point being, I think it was the right call. I don't know about you. It took your exosuits out of the fight that turn.
It did, and frankly, those chain guns still operating, that would have.
I mean, it was either that or go for one of the mixed platoons, and I thought the exosuits were more important because they've got. Your other guys weren't going to get in short range. In the 4 inches was the point, so you weren't going to get the 6 there.
I believe they only got 2 turns of short range fire over the course of the game, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was mostly on this. I mean,
the platoon I had in the centre.
Oh yeah, they got 2, and that was it.
But
you know,
do bad. They just
no,
got a tank.
No, not at all. They didn't. You can't complain with it with the result at the end of it all. But yes, I think I made the right call there. What else can we say about this? Because obviously we've spent quite a while talking about it before. There isn't really much more to say, guys. It is an incredibly fun game. It's very smooth flowing. When you know what you're doing, it's nice and easy. The one thing I would recommend is obviously having to hand as we do, as Steve's done with his little cheat sheet we've got here. We've got a little sheet with all of our suppression resistance, all of our anti-materials, anti-suppressant. Every piece of information we need for the actual units is on this sheet.
As of right now, this is a spreadsheet, but presumably there'll be something very similar.
I presume so when the full rule book comes out, and I believe if you invest if you invest one of the certain level amounts, you get a pre-printed copy.
If I remember rightly, it's something to the effect of any pledge will get you a PDF of the rule book.
Yeah, we'll get you free PDF.
A significant one will get you printed one included.
Again, I think it's over £48 or £60, something like that. Pledge.
If you have at least a company, you'll get a rule book.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works, which is cool, really good. But yeah, always make sure you got that to hand, guys, because it's incredibly useful. Because if you're not 100% sure, it just takes you just find it. It's literally just obviously you can't see it close up, but you know we've got. If we can show you. So there you go, guys. So we got all our different lists there. So here we've got obviously everything you need to know, what type they've got, yada yada. On the right hand side there we've got their suppression resistance, and then you can see obviously if they're doing direct attacks for the likes of the Draco and the Red Hammers, you get the options. We've got the ranges and how effective they are between each range. So you know, really well done by Steve there. Made the game so much easier for us to play with, because it just makes the whole process a lot smoother.
Speaking of, one thing that we were mentioning earlier is that obviously these are both mixed companies, but against an all-armoured company, because battle tanks are a little bit less powerful at ultra-close range.
Yeah, the Icon being a good example.
Right.
4 inches I get 4 for the microwave cannons. More than that I get 6 for the massive
Which
great
means
battle
that although Junkers, for example, are a little bit poor on the anti-material side, if you can swarm a battle tank with enough men at ultra close range,
he can't do enough damage to fight
either
back.
He's shooting you back at inefficient effectiveness, or he can pull back, shoot you at full effectiveness, but become vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. So there are, you know, it does. There are ways of actually getting around full armoured companies.
Tanks are powerful, but they will come apart if you send them unsupported.
Definitely. You know, you have to, if you're going to use a full tank platoon, and by all means, if that's the way you want to go, do, because there is that option. In fact, there are the set tank platoon, mechanised platoons on the pledge starter. If you don't want to pick and choose, you can just you can just invest that amount. You will get that entire mechanised platoon.
Although it's my suspicion, if you want to go lots of tanks, you might be better supplied by having your tanks and some mechanised troops to back them up.
Quite possibly so. However, you know, it's whatever floats your boat, really.
Oh, indeed.
But yeah, and what else have we got on there? So I'm just looking, obviously, at Steve's little extra. But yeah, so as Steve said, you can gun them up quite easily. Special orders. Steve, you were talking about your special order, how you quite liked it.
Yes. Unleash Hell gave me that little bit of breathing space to move all my men into assault positions.
Definitely. You pulled 2 of my units out of the fight.
Bombards don't normally cause very much physical damage, but they suppress brilliantly.
They
give you
do.
that time that you need to send everything else in and get the job done.
Definitely. As for my special order, I think you know exactly what I went for, Steve. Fusillade. It worked well once. I was going to give it another try. I didn't get a chance to use it, unfortunately.
Well, you win some, you lose some, right?
Exactly. You know, at the end of the day, it could have made a big difference, but it happens.
It strikes me that issue with Fusillade is that although it's very powerful, it requires that the captain personally get in there to do the job.
Yeah.
Which,
excuse me, guys.
or at least that it be her orders doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Which means she'll be doing it more effectively if she's with the people who are doing it.
Yeah, especially with SAR teams like that. The problem with doing it otherwise is there's a reasonable chance they might go squish in the process trying to get up there. Mm-hmm. She gives them, as she did last time, a bit of protection, a bit of safety from that.
Yeah.
But you know, live and learn. It happens.
Well, as you saw, I was willing to accept not complete efficiency on my Unleash Hell in order to get it done at the right time.
Definitely. You know, I tried the same tactic. I'll have to try something else in the future. It's the way the dice rolls go, you know. So, as I say, guys, I don't think there's anything else for us to really talk about, is there?
Let's see.
We could talk about the game again, but, you know, it is what it is. It's very straightforward, very simple.
Oh, that reminds
me.
That
one only took us about an hour and a half, if that.
Speaking of orders and attrition,
yeah,
I was saying to Ben earlier that the Syntha have an odd rule whereby each of their officers only gives 3 orders rather than 4. But unlike organic troops, they don't suffer additional costs for units that are already suffering from suppression.
Yeah.
Which I have a feeling would probably come out meaning that...
they're a bit slower at the start.
Right, they're slower to react, but as soon as the organics start to get attrition...
Yeah, they're not going to care.
Then the Syntha have an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that being quite effective, actually. So for them, if you're playing Syntha, basically the strategy will be kill them all fast. Don't just suppress them, kill them. You will have to kill them.
Robots don't get tired.
No, they don't. Robots lose legs, but they don't get tired. But yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Again, guys, you know, we could talk about the game itself. It's struggling to say something we haven't already said. It's smooth, it's fast flying. As I say, that one was hour to an hour and a half. That game, yeah. Obviously we got a few things right we got wrong before, but also Steve and I. But now that we both knew what we were doing, got up into each other's face just a little bit faster. You know, and that's the way it goes. And again, we were slowed down by the camera. I reckon a decent game like that, hour to an hour and a half, is what I said before. It seems like a decent place. So if you don't want to spend ages playing a larger game, something like 40k or Age of Sigmar is another one.
That's a thought.
Potentially.
In the other video, Mark mentioned that you can't get platoons by themselves. Like I said, a company is always exactly 4 platoons. How do you think that will affect the game in the larger scheme of things?
I don't know. I don't honestly think it will. I'd like to be able to have the odd red hammer here and there, just scatter around or whatever, things like that. But at the same time, I don't think it should be an issue. I think it should be alright because, well, let's face it, if you got one or something, 4 of them can only do 4 times as good as it.
Although
I suppose it's one of those cases I wouldn't be able to properly say until I'd had a chance. Until I would have a chance to compare the two, is the honest answer.
I think it's something that would probably tot up more in big games.
I think you're probably right.
An armoured company, all armour and artillery, is about 50 points, and a minimum cost infantry company is 19 points.
Yeah, possibly. Sorry guys, sorry I'm yawning. That's really me. I'm on nights at the moment, so my body clock's refusing to play ball. Hence why we were actually able to get this game in today.
Huzzah!
Yes, yay for my body being stupid. But yeah, I think you're right there, Steve. I think it will tot up in larger games, is the honest answer. But who cares? It's a great game nonetheless.
Although, especially in smaller games like this, it again strikes me that even if you could do otherwise, a mixed platoon is very much the way to go.
Mixed platoons are very effective. You having that Draco just to bombard me is...
Because you have so few pieces to play with, if you tried to go all armour at something this size, you'd be swamped.
You would. Because, you'd be having sort of 2 times the amount of models as I would, because you could just throw that much more.
Conversely, if you went all infantry, then, yes, you'd have a lot of men, but they'd all be keeping their heads down from the bombardments.
Yeah, I'd be bombarding you left, right and centre with red hammers, because we both know I'm going to get red hammers. I absolutely adore the red hammers. It's just the way it is, guys. It does encourage a very, very mixed force.
Absolutely.
You can't go all or no. Well, you can go all or nothing,
but you will probably lose. Or
if you win, you're going to take it so far on the chin that there's you see how mixed platoon versus mixed platoon works. We were either of us could have had it.
Heck, even in little ways, like with the KVs in the suppressor units.
That makes a big difference because that suddenly gives me because they're so brutal against everything. Like the SAMS unit, for instance.
You saw how with my mechanised push on my right flank, how much trouble we had taking down that KV, even though everything else crumbled before us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for instance, the icons, for instance, are obviously very good. They got suppression rate of anti-material and anti-personnel of 6. But if I physically can't get out of 4 inches for whatever reason, and there's a vehicle somewhat...
And again, on that point, by having the infantry right on hand, you prevent the enemy from getting right in your face where the icon is vulnerable.
Definitely. But then, for instance, with the if I had if I couldn't get him out of 4 inches of infantry, but I had line of sight onto a vehicle, and I had a SAMS unit, which obviously anti-material specialists, they have an anti-material of 6 within 4 inches. So I could fire them as long as I got line of sight of the icon. I can give at least the 2 support.
Although, as I recall, your SAMs mostly spent their time firing at medium range by infantry.
They did, but then to be fair, you haven't got that much in the way of vehicles. Most of your vehicles kept back. But the point being, having the mixture of guys in the units does give you the opportunity. So I am going to be inclined to say that a mixed army is going to work.
And in pure anti-personnel, the SAM is just as good as the SART.
Yes, it is. It just happens. It's I'm assuming slightly pricier because it's got the
Actually,
benefit.
they cost the same.
Do they?
Really? They're both 1 point.
Well, I suppose SARTs are better anti-material at range.
At very close range.
No, SAMs obviously, yes. SAMs have got anti-material of 6 within 0 to 4, but obviously SARTs are just 4 across the board, no matter range, up to the maximum range, whereas SAMs, anything over 4 up to the max of 24, drop to 3.
So the SARTs have the long-range grenade launchers, whereas the SAMs require they get in close with their mines.
So it really is the SARTs are the jack of all trades, master of none, and the SAMs are good all around, but they're better at short range at what they're there for.
Right. Actually, yes, as you were saying last time with the riot suppressors, if riot suppressors have an equivalent in AOT, it's the SARTs.
Yeah, I have to agree. They're basically, you've got the gunners, you've got the guys behind them, and the riot suppressors essentially be at the front, just waiting for the guys to charge in. So I think we're going to have to call it there, guys. Again, thank you very much, Steve. A brilliant game.
That was enormously fun.
It was
thoroughly bloody.
It was. You see how smooth and fast flowing the game is, guys. Please go and invest. Once again, the link will be in the description below for the Kickstarter. We'll also put in the link for the Age of Tyrants page. And once again, Urban War. If you want to look up Urban War, we obviously had a mention of it. That'll be in the link below as well. Look at the scenarios. Look at the models. The gorgeous casts. Also, I believe there's some new ones coming out, aren't there?
Are there?
Yeah. It was announced. By
well, I haven't heard about this, so I'm going to go find out.
Yes, Steve's going to go find out. They look nice. It's who else has Vipers? Not the Varsa.
Varsa had the Viper wings.
Yeah, but it wasn't a Varsa model. I know that much.
What did it look like?
It looked like a guy on a bike. Was it
a flying bike?
No.
Was it a quad bike?
No, it was a regular bike. It's the guys Tom was talking about doing the very Japanese ones.
Triads.
The Triads. I think it was the Triads that might have had it.
In Urban War, Triads have the swoop bikes as well.
Yes. So there you go. So it was a Triad. New Triad models coming out basically. They look really quite nice actually. So go and have a look at those guys. I only know about that because I saw that on the Facebook page somewhere.
Although I believe background-wise, most of the GSX 2000 Vipers that the Triads use are sneakily acquired from Varsa stockpiles.
So they're ones that have gone missing somewhere.
Yeah. They fell off the back of a van.
Yes, they did. Or as Walker would say, they didn't fall off, someone had to push them. Anyway.
Speaking of, the Dad's Army movie, it's like ultra soon, isn't it?
It is out.
Excellent. Gonna have to go see that too.
It came out on Friday, just gone. It is, what's the date today? It's the
Monday.
8th today, isn't it?
It's Monday, pretty sure.
Yeah, but the date.
Oh, right.
The date is, one second guys, today's the 8th, so it came out on Friday. I'm going to go see that soon, because it's my birthday coming up soon. I'm also going to go see Deadpool, because it looks awesome. It really does. So once again, guys, obviously we've told you what's going to be coming up the year. Some more Age of Tyrants, Age of Sigmar, all sorts of things like
It's
that.
a bit confusing on 2 games that begin with Age of.
It is. But like I say, possibly some of Andy's Dawn of War 2 style. His Kings of... He's given it a name, I can't remember what it is. We're actually playing that on...
Seventh Samurai.
Yeah,
That
we're actually playing that on Saturday, aren't we, Steve?
Yes, on the 13th.
Yes, it is Andy's birthday, so we are going to be playing that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get that on camera because it's still in the playtesting phase. But yeah, so we'll tell you about
when
that.
Andy's ready to let you know about it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get it out because it is so much fun, so well done.
So dramatic as well.
So dramatic, yeah.
Real heroism
Definitely,
going on.
and because you name your character, you go through all this process, you feel a lot more attached than you just do some generic captain or dwarf lord or things like that, you know. So it's really good in that respect. But yeah, that is it from us here at Anything But Wargaming, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Please go invest in the Kickstarter. I'll possibly put a little thing up in the middle between us. I may or may not. And if not, I'm just going to leave this in anyway because I'm going to look like a moron. It'll be really funny.
It will.
But yeah,
will.
yeah. Please go and invest, guys, because we want our jets and other flyers and. As
Zeppelins.
As I said before, the more we invest as a community, the more we get back as a community. So please go and invest, guys.
I may paint the Hindenburg in Junker colours just for giggles.
I knew you were going to do that. But yeah, so once again, thanks to John and the guys at Myriad Miniatures for this opportunity to play your game. It is fantastic. You've done an amazing job on it, guys. Thanks for correcting our mistakes as well, because it allows us to play it properly, and it's even more. I mean, you can tell the guys were a lot tougher. Also
means that doing aggressive manoeuvres actually
is a lot safer.
More often than not, doesn't result in you getting a headshot off.
No, it does not. But yeah, so from us to here at Anything But Wargaming, guys, thank you very much for watching again, and happy wargaming.
Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.